Good afternoon and welcome. My name is Michele Jutrisa and I'm an independent demonstrator of Stampin' Up here in New South Wales, Australia. Thank you very much for joining me today. And today we're going to have a look at some new product. So coming out in September is our new catalogue. Remembering that this is a 4-month catalogue, not a yearly catalogue like we used to have. And even though I can't show you what's inside the catalogue, I can show you the cover. So let me bring this up so you can see it. So there you go. Let me just see if I can just adjust this a little bit so it's a little bit clearer. Okay. Can't quite get it into the complete screen, unfortunately. Just seem to be having a little bit of an issue with this of late. Okay, so there it is there. So that's our new catalogue, which will be coming out, as I said, in September. Now, I'm not going to be handing out catalogues this time round. So if you are wanting to get a copy of this, I am quite happy to, if I get a few inquiries, to get some if you want a paper version. Otherwise, I will be sending out links to the online version of this to those who want them. So please let me know. But at this point in time, I'm not going to be ordering them in. So let me show you some of the products. Now, as I said before, I can't show you what's in the catalogue, but I can definitely show you what we have inside the catalogue. Now, I'm just going to adjust this again. Sorry for all of that mucking around, but just keep your eye open for this catalogue and these new products, as I said, coming out in September through to December. So it is a holiday catalogue, so you will find a lot of those products in it. So what are we going to start off with today? I'm not going to do this in any particular order. I haven't ordered a huge amount, but this particular one here caught my eye. Now, this is not a Christmas product. This is more of an all year round product. And if you can guess what colour or why I love this, I'll give you a clap. No. This particular, what drew me to this, hello, how are you, Monica? What really drew me to this particular paper, of course, is the blues. I really love the hydrangea hue and all the blues in this. This also comes out in a scrapbook workshop, and we'll be purchasing that too at a later date. But with this particular one, let me just go through some of these papers with you very quickly. So you have got this beautiful one with the hydrangea hue, and the other colour in that would be the it's got crisp cantaloupe, crushed curry, hydrangea hue, old olive, and pretty peacock. So that'd be the pretty peacock in that one. And then on the other side, we've got that beautiful hydrangea hue. This one here, which I would say it's got a lot of the golden glow, granny apple green, hydrangea hue, and of course the pretty peacock. The pretty peacock and the crisp cantaloupe, and again the golden glow in that one. Whoops, better show you the backs of those too. So there you go, there's the backs of them. Then this one here is all that beautiful crisp cantaloupe, and the reverse back to the hydrangea hue. We've got pretty peacock in this one. It's just, I think it's going to be so versatile. It's going to be so much what you can do with this. Hello, Joan, how are you? And this one as well, with the crisp cantaloupe on that side. So I really love these papers, and as I said, it is the blue that really caught me on that one. Then you have the Tile Garden, which is a coordinating stamp set with that one. And there is also coordinating stamp sets with the workshop as well. And this really caught me. This is what I had to have it for this. The Tile Gardens. Now, these are the square dies, and they're just like the other ones we have. So they've got the different edging on them. Let me just grab them so you can see, and they coordinate with the circles that we've got, and I can't for the life of me at the moment think what they're called. But look, if you love the circles, you're going to love these ones as well. So I just had to have those besides all that beautiful blue. This suite also comes with some beautiful ribbon, and let me just open this up so we can have a look at it. I only received this yesterday, so I haven't even had a chance to look at this yet. Have I said hello to you yet, Joan? I'm sort of a little bit all over the place at the moment. So that's a beautiful hydrangea hue with the white trim on the side. Really nice soft ribbon, easy to fold. And then, of course, we have the embellishments here to go with them, and these are called the glossy garden dots, and that's in the hydrangea hue. Looks like old olive or garden green. I would say old olive, and then the crisp cantaloupe. So they're going to be fun to work with at a later time. Now, I've got another suite, but I'm going to leave it for a moment, and I'm going to show you two other products. I just had to have Joyful Friends. This is a standalone stamp set. They do look great, don't they, Monica? It's going to be so much fun to play with, and I'm already thinking of scrapbook pages, but I'm not quite sure what photos I'm going to put on there because I've got all boys, and I love all the florals, and anyway, they're just going to have to put up with my florals. Joyful Friends. Hey, it's got an Australian theme. Yay, at last, something that's and I don't normally go for the cartoon, but I'm a very traditional Christmas person. Love my traditional colours, love my traditional patterns. But this year I've decided I'm going cutesy. And I've already got an idea of what card I want to make with this particular one. And I think this is just going to be so much fun for us Aussies. I can imagine just us sending these out to everybody, all our Stampin' Up! Friends around the world, and go, hey, we've got a stamp set that's very much Christmas. So you've got your kangaroo, you've got your koala, you've got your wombats, you've got your kookaburra. What more can we ask for? So I'm looking forward to playing with that one. The other one I've got this time around, this is actually part of another suite, and I can't remember the name of it, but I really love subtle embossing folders. I mean, I love the 3D ones with lots of elements and everything in it too, but I really love to have a nice background subtle embossing folder. I don't always want to have just a plain old background. So this is the softly woven 3D embossing folder, which I think is just beautiful. So they're two products. Now, the last suite that I purchased is this one here, and again, it's another cutesy. So this one is called, this one's called A Little Christmas, and has got all these gorgeous mice. I loved it. Stampin' Up! Brought out a stamp set quite a few years ago now of mice, and I really loved it. So when I saw this, I went, yay, mice again. So I had to get it. So just to go through the designer series paper with you, you've got this one with all these beautiful, cute little mice doing different things with the stockings and the Christmas tree. And then you've got a lovely plaid. And I think, too, this makes this paper really versatile. If you don't want to have all the cute little, mice and everything, the B side of this paper is fantastic. And you could even, you can add that with this one here. They're not tied just to all mice all the time. So there's that one. And then you've got your mice out singing, out caroling, and you've got that really nice stripe that goes with that one. Then you have this one here. Now, this one here is, I got caught on this when I first pulled it out this morning to have a look. It's a similar plaid. But this one here, the predominant colour is your greens, is your garden green. This one here, the predominant colour is your cherry cobbler. Hello, Margie. How are you? Hello, Wendy. So, you know, there's a lot here that you can use. And some of these other papers are doing the same thing. So let me show you. So there's the stripe I showed you before in the cherry cobbler, but now we've got it in the, I'm sure it's granny apple, not granny apple green, garden green. So it's the same stripe, but just a different colorway. And then on the back of that, you've got those really cute mice in their stockings. So really fantastic papers. Then we have this one here. Don't need that little bit, which has got candy cane and all your bows. Now, be very careful cutting this one out. When you first look at it, and you look at the candy canes, they're going in different directions, but it is a one-way. If you actually look at all the bows are all going in one direction. And really, if you wanted to pin it down, you could say in the stripe, each of these candy canes are also going in one direction because you've got two candy canes there together. So this could be classified as a one-way. So it just depends on what you want to make as your predominant. So watch when you're cutting that one. And that is the paper. And isn't that cute? Unfortunately, I don't do a lot of Christmas cookie layouts or cards. Maybe I'm going to have to change and do one. Then again, we have this one here, and that on the back of that one is all of these elements that you could use on card fronts or tags or strips across your a scrapbook layout. Now, there must be another, I'm sure this came in another, I think this is what I'm confusing this with. You've got the two stripes there, and I thought we had it in a different colour. Let me have a look. I'm sure I haven't lost a piece of paper yet already. Oh, look, yes, that's what I'm thinking. So you've got these two in green. You've got, no, I got those two in green. That must be only in the green. I thought there was another colour. 1, 2, 3. No, there's only 6. So they're all your papers. I'm getting myself confused already. Haven't even got started yet. So what else goes with this particular sweep? You have got the mice, the Christmas mice stamp set. And the beauty of these little mice here, the dies actually cut around their hands. So with this one here, you can actually slip something to make it look like they're they're holding something. So the imagery I've seen so far is them holding a present, them holding a Christmas bauble, but, you know, it's quite an interactive, I think that's the word I'm looking for, a very interactive type stamp set. And then, of course, you have all these lovely dies. Now, with all these dies, you can create so many different scenes. You've got a window, you've got presents, you've got the die to cut out the wreath. You've got a Christmas tree, you've got a Christmas pass box, you've got the candy cane, you've got the die to cut out the candy cane, the same with the bows. Now, it took me a little while to work out this piece here. What is it? It looks like it's the, you know, it could be, is it the top of little hats? What is it? But it could be the top of the little baubles, but it's too small. It is actually the top of little baubles, but the picture I've seen is they're sitting inside the box. So you could have all your Christmas decorations sitting in the box ready to go. So a really fantastic one if you like to create imagery and stories with your cards. So a really fun one to play with. And again, I have just got so many ideas of what I want to do with this particular one as well. Now, also with this suite, you have got the twine, which is a twisted cherry cobbler, garden green, and a white. It is quite thick, so I probably wouldn't be doing lots of layers of it, but be great for Christmas tags. I'd have to work out what I want to do with this one as yet. It's not something I would tie in a bow or a knot, I think, because it's going to become very bulky there in the center, but you could easily strip this down if you wanted to just use one or do a mix of both to them, or, you know, you could play with lots of things there with actually fanning that out. Okay, so there's quite a few things that we can do with that. Also have here the Christmas epoxy shapes. So all the shapes in this are, let's pull them out so we can actually have a look at them. So we've got little presents, we've got Christmas baubles, we've got the candy canes, and then we've got stars. So quite a bit of fun you could have with that as well. So as you probably could see, I've got a few bits and pieces of cardstock. So we're going to make a card using this paper. Okay, so let's get started. So let me just pull my stamp set out of there, and we'll pop all of that over there, and I'll pop all that away later. And let's get started. So I've created a little bit of an idea here, and I will put this up on my blog in the next couple of days with all the measurements and everything that I've used. So this is just a bit of a play with an idea that I saw online on Pinterest today, and I thought that that's going to be a great idea for our card. So this is my design idea. So I'm going to pull in all my bits and pieces. So I'm going to start, I've got a card base here, and as I said, I will put my measurements up on my blog. So I've got a card base here. As you know, I love my 10 fold cards. So again, that's in a 10 fold, and I've already got that cut, scored, and folded in half. I'm going to put a piece of basic beige. So I've got basic beige here as my card insert, and for my front of my card, I've decided to use my designer series paper with my bows on it. I've also got 2 pieces of designer series paper in one of the plaids, and I've got another piece of designer series paper here in just the plain colour, because I just wanted to break up a little bit of all the layers. I didn't want to put in another designer series paper in there, so I've just got a piece of plain cardstock, I think I should have said. And then I've got a stylish shape cut out in a circle. So I've already stamped my mouse, and let me just grab my dies because I've got them all sitting here before I sort of tend to lose them under stuff. And we're going to stamp one more item. So I've decided that my little mouse is going to hold on to a present. So I'm just going to ink that up in some memento. And I'm going to stamp that right there. I'll clean that off a bit later on. So we're going to colour this with our blends, and the blends I've chosen to do my mouse in is crumb cake. I must admit I do have to buy a new crumb cake, and I'm going to use petal pink for in his ears. So let's pop that to one side. So I'm going to start with my light, because I like working light to dark rather than dark to light. It's personal preference. There's no real, you know, one must go before the other. Okay, so I'm going to colour my mouse in the light crumb cake, and I'm just going to go in a flicking motion around his ears, and just that little bit of fur there in the centre of his ears, just giving a little bit of colour there, and a little bit there. And then I'm just going to basically, using my brush tip end, and just go around in a circular motion, because what I want to do, or what I like to do, is lay down a good layer of colour, and that moistens the cardstock, so it allows for the ink to blend when I put the next colour down. Now I'm not worrying so much about keeping within the lines on this particular one, because it's got a white background, and I am going to die cut these out, of course. Once I've done that, I'm going to come in now with my dark one, and I'm going to add all my details and my shading. So I'm just going to swap it to the brush tip, and I'm just going to flick that around and put some detail there on his hair, across the top, down the side of his face, across these ears as well. Now your tick motion should be like a tick, and just flicking it off around. When I put the light colour over the top, that'll start blending some of this in. So I just want to shape his face a little bit, just doing small tick marks all the way around and underneath. Anywhere I think there might be a little bit of shadowing, I'm going to do his paws. Can always come back and add more if you need to add more. Do his tail. And I'm just flicking from the outside edge in for his belly. Once you've done that, you can come back in with the lighter one again and blend all that in. I think I'm sort of needing to replace these crumb cake blends very soon. All I'm just going to do is just keep blending that in, and I'm just flicking from the outside into the center. And as this dries, that should help to blend all of that all in. Now, I don't mind leaving a little bit of a white spot in the middle, so that's where I haven't taken my blends all the way into the center. And I'm just going to add a little bit more here. I just want to darken his feet up a bit, his legs up a bit more, and maybe even around here. Just going to come back in and blend all that in again. You always know that your blends are going to blend well. When you flip this over, you should have the back of it all coloured in, and that's where the ink is actually still wet, and working on a glass mat works really well. Now I've got my petal pink here, and again I'm just going to colour in his ears, just flicking it from top out. I'm going to bring in the dark one, and again just add a bit of darkness. I think I've got another one I need to replace. It's not so much the ink's running out, it's just the nib is changing. And to help all that blend, I'm just going to add a little bit more of the light in around those ears. As I said, I'm not worrying too much about it going out. Just want to add, oops, I want the other tip, and I just want to add a little bit more colour on his face. I like crumb cake here. It seems to be very, very light. I'm just going around all those edges just to soften them. And as this dries, it will actually soften really well into his body. And I'm just going to pop a little bit more on the bottom here. I'm just going to colour that area. That part of the body there is going to get covered up with the gift anyway, so I'm not worrying about that too much. there's our little mouse. Quite easy and simple to colour it in. It's just a matter of working out what colours you want to use. Now, for the present, I'm going to use crumb cake. So again, I'm going to start off with my light, and I'm going to use the fine tip here. And I am just going to, in a circular motion, just go all around the two sides of my present, of the ribbon, or on either side of that ribbon. I'm just going to run that over like that. I'm not worrying about doing tick type on this because it's just small areas. I'm coming in with my dark. Okay, and I'm going to come back in with my light over the top and just blend that out. Just thinking I might just see if I can blend this area up here just that little bit more. I think he's looking cute. So now I've got, and this is the first time I've actually used this. This is the shimmer brush in the Golden Glow, and I just want to do the ribbon in that. So I'm just going to colour that in, and this is going to give a little bit of glitter to that ribbon there. And then I'm just going to colour the inside of the bow as well. And I'm just going to follow those lines out, and it'll just give it a little bit of a glimmer. So once we've done that, we can grab our cut and emboss, our mini cut and emboss, and cut these out. So we're just going to lay down our plate 1 and 2. I've got our die there for our mouse. Pop a bit of tape over that just to make sure that stays in place. And then we have the other die. Whoops, he's just scooting off there, which we want to cut that present out with. And I'm just going to pop another piece of tape onto it. Okay, so let's have a look at our pieces here. There's our little present. Let's pop those over here out of the road. And our little mouse. Now, as I said before, his little paws, I don't know whether you can actually see that. Just cut, let me just grab this. You can slip things underneath. So you could have 3 mice. Oh, wow. If you had that on a card, you could put that across there like that and have 3 mice sitting behind it. Now, there's a cute idea for a card, but we're not doing that today. You could have 3 different coloured mice. You know, sitting along a fence line, you know, that old thing that we used to draw when we were kids years ago, where just a face, 2 eyes and a head sitting poking over a fence line. Okay, so that's just going to sit just in there like that. And I just think that just makes it so adorable. Okay, we don't want that to move, so I'm going to grab a glue dot and just pop a glue dot underneath there to keep that little present Yep, well, that glue dot went somewhere. I'll find it in a minute when something's stuck to the... Don't know where that went. It just flicked off. Okay, so I'm just going to grab my glue dot here, and I'm going to come from the underneath, stick that onto there, and just make sure that that's positioned exactly where I want it. I want his little eyes and everything to be seen, and that can go onto there like that. I'll find that glue dot later. It'll end up being stuck to me. Oh, look, there he is. So there's our cute little mouse. So let's start putting our card together because we've got all these bits and pieces. So I've got this strip here, which is going to go on our card insert. So I'm just going to pop a little bit of glue on that. And that I'm going to pop down to the edge of my card there. I haven't decided yet whether anything's going to go on there as yet, so I'm going to leave that for a little bit and start putting the rest of the card together. So we've got our base here. Now what I thought I might do is actually we might emboss this piece. Now the other thing, and this piece here, not this one, emboss these and use that beautiful embossing folder. Let's have a look and see how this is going to work. So let me just move all of those out of the road. Grab my large cut and emboss. So we need plate 1. I'm going to pop plate 2 on there, but I'm not quite sure whether I'm going to need it because this is a 3D. So I always have trouble opening these up first time round. So I want my mat. You want to make sure you've got all these going in the right direction, and I want this piece. It's not going to quite fit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do one at a time. I'm going to line up my stripes. So I'm going to take that out because I don't think we're going to need that. So I've got plate 1, my embossing folder with the fold going through first, and then plate 4 on top of that. Yep, that's thick enough. Nothing else would have gone through. And we're going to wind that through. You're going to have a lot of fun playing with this, Wendy. So let's have a look. Oh, I like that. Can you just see that? It's just so subtle. It's just giving that little bit extra texture. Now, the only thing I've got to remember is, because that's got so much texture on it, is that going to make this too small on here, which means I might have to trim down because the texture actually shrinks the paper up a little bit because it's taken up into the folds. So I might have to trim my designer series paper down a little bit on one piece, but that is just going to look gorgeous on there. And what I want to do is probably put that onto this piece here as well. So I'm going to line this up with my stripe inside. Now this could look actually very effective if you didn't want to line it up and had it at an angle. But because I'm doing this all on a stripe this time round, I'm going to keep everything straight. So it is a largish format embossing folder. You can only get what you can get when you need things, Wendy, and that's why I sort of haven't gone overboard and ordering everything. Can only get what I can get at the moment. Okay. Let's just pop all that away in there, then that's out of the road. We'll open up this. Oh, yeah, it's stuck in there. Just want to bend that a little bit so then get my fingernail underneath that. It's very textured. Very, very textured. Okay, so let's adhere this down. Now, because this is very textured, you can see it's curling up. So I'm really going to have to pop quite a bit of adhesive on here. I want to take it as close to the edge as I can without it wanting to ooze out, and put some in the middle. I need to put just a little bit more along that edge. Now it has shrunk up a little bit. Need to move that down. Sort of a shrunk more in length than width. And because this is sort of so textured, I'm not getting the slip I would normally have. So let's just lay that and give that a really good rub down and make sure that we've got all of that adhered. Could be on there just a little bit crooked, but that's going to do for now. I don't think I'm going to be able to lift that and move that across. Oh, maybe I could. Let's just see if I can lift this very carefully across a little bit. That's better. Happier with that. But that has, because what it does, it loosens the fibre in your cardstock. So you're going to find that this is going to be a little bit more not as strong because we've done that. Hello, Lynette. How are you? Now, this is where I need to make sure, because that may need to be shortened by about 1 mil. So let's just have a quick look at this. Yep. So I just have to shorten this piece because I've used the embossing folder. It has actually just shortened that by a small amount. So when I give the measurements, just be aware that I will be doing the measurements before embossing. So you would have to trim a little bit just to make sure that this is fitting nicely. And what we're going to do is we're just going to adhere that down there like so. So again, I'm just going to use my multi-purpose glue. I'm trying to use as much as this beautiful cut designer series paper as I possibly can on this card. Just really show it up. Now, I was trying to work out earlier today what colour background is on this piece, and I think it's more of a golden glow, even though I've used basic beige. The basic beige does work well with it because it's sort of got a slightly mottled effect. Anyway, that's going onto there. I probably could have moved that across a little bit more, but I think it's there now. Then this piece here is going to go on here, and I might Don't want these widths. Probably could have taken this designer series paper over a little bit more. I don't want these widths being exactly the same. I want that, you can see there, I've sort of got a narrow piece here, then this is wider, then this is wider again. So that's the sort of effect I want. But I may have taken that not far enough over. So the other way we could do is reverse that and have a smaller amount there, which I think is what we're going to do. So again, we're just going to pop a lot of adhesive on the back of this. Don't think the snail would have grabbed to this as well as what the glue does. So I want my gap there to be a little bit narrower. Again, just push all that down, hold it down for a bit. Hold that down, just let that grip on. And then this piece is going to go on here, and we want to have this piece sort of about 1 centimetre from that edge over there. So we're just building up a few layers here. Again, we just want that to adhere onto there quite well. Now here's my basic beige circle, and we're going to pop that on about there. Now at the moment I'm not adding, I'm just gluing all this down with glue because I want this to stay fairly flat, because I am going to pop my little mouse up on dimensionals. So I don't want to have too much height. So let's pop some glue onto there, and we can pop that circle around about there. Now the only other thing I haven't done is stamp our sentiment. So I've got a piece of Lost Lagoon here, and I've chosen one of the sentiments, and I'm going to stamp that in the cherry cobbler. Now I want to keep this close-ish to the edge as I can. And I'm just going to clean that one off straight away because it does stain. That's one of the things with the photopolymer stamps. You will get staining, but if you've cleaned it properly, that stain won't transfer to other projects. Okay, so I'm just going to bring in my little trimmer here, trim this down. Now I'm not quite sure as yet whether I'm going to fussy cut this around, or depends on how narrow I can make this. So let me just pop this on the back here, because I don't want this being too big, because otherwise it's just going to overwhelm our little mouse. So I'm just sort of maybe just taking this off a little bit by little bit until I'm happy, or I fussy cut around it. So let's have a look. So we've got that onto there. I'm going to pop some dimensionals onto the back of our mouse. Put one there. I think for the moment I'll just have the two. Now we've got to work out where we're going to pop this. If I put the mouse across onto that side, our Merry Christmas isn't going to fit. So our Merry Christmas is actually quite big. Don't really want it. There are other sentiments we can use. We could put him up a little bit and bring that across. Let's just do a little bit of fussy cutting anyway and just sort of see, because I haven't cut it so far that I can't fussy cut it, and fussy cutting it will make it slimmer again. Now, of course, when you fussy cut something, you keep your scissors still and you just turn your paper. Whoops, almost lost that dot of that eye. Because I am cutting quite close. Of course, we could have had Merry Christmas coming in under his paws too. We could also, if we wanted to, cut this into 2 words and have it as 2 sentiment strips. But let's just go with one first and see. How it goes. Now, if you're not sure on fussy cutting, and if you've seen my videos before, you know that sometimes I will draw a pencil line around, and that just gives you a bit of a guide to know where you are going to cut. Now, this is going to become a little bit on the delicate side because I am cutting very close. The bottom is always a lot easier once you get past that white, because it's just really going in and out roughly around those shapes. Oops, let's cut that little bit off there because it's don't need to have all that excess there getting in the road of our cutting. Now I'm just right back to the end, and I just want to give that a nice little curve at the end. So there we go. I've cut Christmas as fine as I possibly can without mangling it. And as I said, if we wanted to, we can make that into 2 words, which I think I may do. So I'm going to go back to this white and just cut right around. So there's Mary. And let's just tidy up our Christmas. So let's adhere our mouse down. Hi Kay, how are you? by cutting it in half, I don't have to have my mouse up so high either. And I'm actually just going to glue that down with a bit of glue, I think. Now it's just working out where I want this Merry Christmas to go. I don't want it, I think, about there. Just wondering, because there's a little bit of difference in height, but I think a glue dot might be enough for that. So what I'm going to do, because I've got all this glued, like the circle, and I don't have dimensionals underneath that, I'm just going to put a glue dot on the end of Christmas, and it just fits in there. And I'm going to pop glue there. So that can just sit there like that. And we're just going to pop a little bit of glue just don't know where my tweezers are at the moment to be able to help me, but I just want Mary just to sit there like so. Now we've got our insert panel, which I haven't decided yet what I'm going to do. I do have another little mouse, which I might pop him in there because that was my trial one. That's just going to give me two. The only thing I don't think I've done is I haven't glued that present in there, so we might have to do that. So I'm going to pop him just there. Grab another glue dot. And I'm just going to pop a glue dot underneath that present just to hold that in there. I've been using a lot of glue lately because it seems to be almost empty and it's only a new bottle. Okay. Now, of course, if we wanted to, there are some other stamps we could easily stamp in and around, and I just need to push that down a little bit. And I'm just having a little bit of a look for my, where did I put those embellishments? Just here. Don't know whether we might pop a couple of stars in around, I think. And I'm going to do them, I think, in the where'd that one go? Because that's going to go there. I'll pop another one there and a third one. I'm just doing them in all that golden glow colour. Third one is going to go right there. So there we go. So there's our card for today using our new products. And as I said, this one is sweet, is called A Little Christmas. But I think that's going to be quite fun to play with. And as I said, it's quite a good one because you can build all those scenes with it as well. So I hope you've enjoyed that and seeing some new products. And And hopefully I can come up with some other ideas of what we can do with this. I do like the idea of the 3 mice looking across a fence top or something. That could be quite cute, and that wouldn't necessarily have to be Christmas either. Anyway, thank you very much for joining. So there's my little map of what I've used, and there's my finished card. And as I said, I will pop that on my blog over the weekend, and you will find all my measurements and everything there as well. So thank you very much for watching. If you do like what I've shown you here, you can always help me continuing to do this by buying me a cup of coffee. The link for that is on my blog. It is also on my Facebook page, and I may even have one here so you know what I'm talking about. Hold on a second, let me pop that up. So you will find links on my blog, so forth, just to help me out, and all the money I get from that goes back into buying products to keep me crafting and keep me showing you new ideas of what you can create with Stampin' Up products. So let me just hide that for the moment. I don't think we need to see that anymore. Pop that one back up. And of course, all the products I've got here, you will be able to purchase as of September from michellejutrisa.stampingup.net. So thank you very much for watching me today. I hope you've enjoyed my card, and I will see you tomorrow morning, and we might do a little bit of scrapbooking again tomorrow. So I hope you can join me then at 10:30. So have a lovely day. If I don't see you tomorrow, have a lovely weekend, and take care. Bye for now.